Hey, Year 10. No, it's not lockdown. It's your starter activity. I've recorded this particular PowerPoint for those that brought their headphones in to just help with today's lesson. So with our starter activity, we should have already logged onto a computer, otherwise we wouldn't be listening to this right now. Number two, watch this video. Go to that video and check it out, see what you think. It's a news clip. And if you have no headphones, open up Chrome, see what you can find out about the term from field to fork. For a challenge, for your findings, what current factors affect food in the UK? So what can you find that's happening right now that affects food within the UK? Are there any news bulletins that you can find, or anything in the news, or anything that you have found or know about that may cause factors causing food within the UK? So from your little bit of research to do with from field to fork, this may have come up. So this term food provenance, this is what we're looking at. So food provenance is basically, where is our food coming from? It encompasses so many different things. So where does our food come from? Our food choices, animal welfare, pesticides, food miles, environment and climate, seasonality, soil type, organic, CO2, and many, many others. This is a huge subject. It encompasses so many parts because it is the future of our food. So food provenance is basically the future of our food, and what can we do as a planet and as human beings to make sure that the future of food is sustainable, that we can keep going with it. So today's lesson, food provenance. So it's a theory lesson. And today's learning objectives, we're looking at all students. So all of us will identify the meaning of food provenance and look into fruit and vegetables. There are other activities within, but mainly looking at fruit and vegetables that are grown around the world. Most of you will gain an understanding about how far the foods travel and what effects it has or has had on the environment. And some of you will define and link keywords in their explanations as you're doing these activities, and as to how food provenance has an impact on the environment. And you can see your keywords down there: food miles, environment, seasonal food, and ethical and moral factors. Again, there you go, another video. You're welcome. Where does our food come from? Go check it out. Pause the video and check it out. So what does food provenance mean? It means that basically it relates to where food and ingredients originally come from. So where has our food come from before it reaches food manufacturers, supermarkets, restaurants, and ultimately our plates and the food room, if you like. So the production of food can have a significant impact on the environment, and it's important for people to have an understanding of what these impacts are in order for them to make informed food choices. So some concerns that people may have that influence their food choices as to what they eat and why they eat it. One of them, animal welfare. Before it gets to the plate, how has that animal been treated? How has that animal been treated before it gets to your plate? So animal welfare. Intensive farming, so over-farmed land. How is the farmer upkeeping with growing his crops or rearing his livestock? Pesticides and fertilizers used on crops. So this is a factor that may influence people and their food choices. Fair trade. Are you supporting poorer communities around the world? Most people link fair trade with, you could say, bananas, coffee, pineapples. So all these different produce that we can't grow in this country are usually provided by fair trade. Food miles, how far has this food traveled, or how far has food traveled in general? We will do an activity on this later. Organic food promotes ecological practices. So organic food is the soil type, where and basically how fresh this organic food is according to its soil. And GM foods, genetically modified foods. So looking into the DNA of foods, is this an ethical and moral thing that we're doing with food, or people are doing with food? The scientists with their DNA splicing and mixing all these different things up when it comes to food, is that right? and then that depends on your food choices. Are you getting food that is GM food and so on? So all these encapsulate and more, essentially, food provenance. So we're now going to focus on these food miles and the effect of food traveling around the world. So you think about those bananas traveling all the way to the UK, because I've never seen a banana tree in the good old United Kingdom. But what did it go through? What did these bananas go through to get from field to fork, essentially, to your plate? As a quick one, I thought I'd throw this in. What does it take to make chocolate in the UK? So you think that lovely chocolate bar, lovely chocolate, but where has all the ingredients for that chocolate come from? So look down at the bottom there, you got cocoa. That's grown, I can't even see where it is on the page, but I think it's grown, so it's like South America, some Middle America, so cocoa, or is that Africa? Then sugar, but then we could grow sugar here, but sugar they're saying is coming from 4,600 miles away. Wheat, 200 miles, milk 500 miles. So you can see those ones are more in our country. So we can grow wheat. We have milk in our country. We can source the yeast. Salt, blimey, that's come from 4,700 miles. Palm oil, soya, calcium sulfate, all these different things for your chocolate has traveled all that far. So 30,400 miles just for your chocolate bar alone. Go to this website for your research task. So one of your research tasks, you've got a food miles bingo sheet. If not, go see Mr. Casey. So you've got a food miles bingo sheet, and on this sheet, you're gonna track or find out all these different how far certain foods have travelled. So go to that website, go to the foodmiles.com/food/UK website, and you'll see this lovely food miles calculator pop up. You're going to open up another tab in Google Chrome, because you're going to need this so that you can search, so you can do your research. And then type into the search bar in the Google Chrome, where are whatever fruit and vegetable you're looking for, and then put grown. So make it easier for Google to find and for yourself. So so you can say, like, where are bananas grown? Where are apples grown? Yeah, or where is fennel grown? Yeah. And then use your activity sheet to record which country they've been imported from. So where's it come from, the fruit or vegetable? Use the food miles calculator to calculate the food miles. So put in there, so your location is always going to stay United Kingdom. You can see that at the top. The country that you select is where you have found that fruit and vegetable to have come from. So you are going to put that in there. You can put the food item in the bottom there as well. Submit, and it will come up with the amount of food miles that has come up. And then also, what season are each of the fruit and veg available in the year? So what time of year are these fruit and vegetables available within the year? So that's your research task. There's your food miles bingo sheet that you should have in front of you. So pen, obviously, for that one. Go away, research, see what you can find. Welcome back. So what are food miles in general? So we could say food miles are a way of attempting to measure how far food has traveled before it reaches the consumer, from farm to fork. How far has that food traveled from farm to fork? So it's a good way of looking at the environmental impact of foods and their ingredients. So it includes getting foods to you, but also getting waste foods away from you and to the landfill. So it works both ways. There's a lot involved here. So what does that mean? It means that it's time to think about where your food has come from, yes, and what environmental impacts this has had. So food miles is important, because what kind of things can food miles do in terms of impacts on the environment? They are pollution, number one. So the effects of food miles can be measured in the pollution that is caused. You got to think about the distance traveled, and how far that distance was, and how much distance was covered. And also there's carbon footprint. So you should be, I think some of you are doing this in geography, if you've taken geography, and if not, it does come up in science and so on. So there's carbon footprint. It's a big impact. And as you can see from that picture down there, all these planes, trains, boats, they're all shipping food all around the world. So how is this making an impact on the environment, and are we being sustainable with this food? So how can you reduce your food miles? You can buy locally. That's the key, meaning you are supporting local growers, so buying locally if you can. But the downside to that, or the disadvantage to that is, well, is it in season? Because if it's not, then, and you really want it or you want to get it, you're going to have to import it, right? So why not walk to the local shop to get the bus? So reducing your food mileage, essentially, yeah, cycle. And compost packaging. So I think in Surrey you've got your composting boxes, your bags that you put out. So yeah, reducing the environmental effects of your food, and grow your own. So growing your own fruit and vegetables from home. There's a little activity there. You're more than welcome to have a little look at the journey of bananas, and having a look at the process that even just the banana goes through before making its way to the shelves in the UK. Have a look at the picture in front of you. So quick little task. So you've got a polytunnel, you've got apples growing in an orchard, so an apple orchard, crops going underground in fields. Have you ever seen any of these methods of growing crops before? If so, think about it. Where is it local? What are the pros and cons of growing things in this way? Are there any cons to it whatsoever? Yeah, so what are polytunnels? Go and have a look on Google, go search on Chrome. What can you find? If not, has anyone got any allotments? Maybe there's an allotment that someone has. Go and have a look. Your next activity, again, go to the sheets. This case has got your sheets. So investigate the growing of crops in the UK. So using those sheets provided, investigate, research, use Google as your friend. Yeah, cut down on the words and the amount of words you're using, but you're using the activity sheets to do with growing crops. So writing on those sheets as well, names on when you are done, and hand them back in. Next activity, nice and busy today, right? So open a Word document for the next activity and then take a note. You're going to share it. You're going to save and share it in the shared folder. So yeah, go to shared, open up students folder, open up the food and nutrition folder, DCT, my code, and the year 10 food provenance. So in here, your task is you have been asked to make the following meal. A chicken burger with sweet potato fries and sweet corn. With that, you're going to find a recipe for each part of the meal online. So you're going to find the chicken. You're going to find the burger. Is there anything going in the burger with this chicken burger? It's your burger, remember, but you're making a chicken burger. And then sweet potato fries. So find a recipe for sweet potato fries. There are many online. I recommend going to BBC Good Food if you do. And sweet corn. What kind of sweet corn are you going to get? Is it going to be frozen? Is it going to be on the cob? Is it in season? Yeah. So find a recipe for each of these meals for the meal online for each part. Where will you buy? So then you're listing on your Word document. Yeah. So on your Word document, you're going to put, well, where will you buy each of these ingredients from? Now I'm talking either supermarket, or are you going to go down the road? Are you importing it? Where are you buying each of these ingredients from? Yeah. Make a note of where you're buying them from. Where have the ingredients come from? Yeah. So where have the ingredients come from originally is what I'm asking there. There's this typo in there. So where have they come from originally? What country did they originate from? Or where have they come from in general? How can you cut down the food miles for each of the ingredients that you have bought? What could you do to make sure that you are cutting down those food miles so you are not traveling left, right and center, so that you are able, so what are you going to do in terms of your food mileage for each of the ingredients? Think about what chicken are you going to buy? What kind of life has this chicken had? Yeah. What kind of chicken are you going to buy? What kind of life has this chicken had? What effect does it have on the price? And are the foods in season? If not, what could you change them to? Think on your feet. So then you've got no, like if you can't get any of those ingredients, what would be a good alternative, or what would be in season? What could you do? Yeah. Nice activity, I think. It's good. It's good. It links well with NEA 2 as well. It links well with your coursework for year 11. So looking through this list, and you're writing it all onto your Word document, and then you are saving that Word document in that shared folder. So as a plenary, all of us, so we're looking at what the effects of food miles have on the environment. You can put this on your Word document should you wish. So what effects do the food miles have on the environment? What are the advantages and disadvantages of seasonal food? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of polytunnels? Again, have a look at them. Go away, research. What can you find? Tell me more. Write them on your Word document. And those for the plenary extension, so another one, if you are completely, if you've been racing through this lovely work, which I'm sure you have, and we're here now, you're going to research the following. So what is organic food? Go on YouTube, go check it out. There's loads of lovely videos. So you can look up organic food. What is fair trade? The red tractor logo and the Marine Stewardship Council. What do each of these stand for? And what are the pros and cons of each one? Yeah, go and have a look. Go check it out. Go to YouTube. Go find things. It's all good. It's all good in the way of research. In the meantime, make sure everything's saved onto the folder that I've asked, and hopefully all will be well. Enjoy your lesson, guys.